What's going on, boys? Joy-Con James here, and I hope you're all doing well. Now, today there is some big leaks up ahead, so this is your spoiler warning now. Dataminers have actually gone through the demo of Hyrule Warriors, the new one for Breath of the Wild. It's coming out in a few days, a few weeks. The demo just released the other day. I was playing it last night. It's very, very fun. I recommend you go download it if you haven't already. If you're a big fan of Hyrule Warriors or Breath of the Wild, you'll probably enjoy it. But the point is that Dataminers have gone in and they've gone through the game, and because this is basically like a version of the full game in a small packet, all the information from the full game is in the files here. So Dataminers have gone through and they have found a list of all the playable characters that will be available for Breath of the Wild Age of Calamity. So this is your final spoiler warning. There is a list of all the full characters, and some of these are very, very questionable. In fact, most of them are fairly simple. Like, I don't think it's a spoiler to tell you that Zelda will be playable in the game, but some of them are mild spoilers, and one in particular is quite a big spoiler in terms of how it's going to work and how it will play into the story, and potentially how it could affect Breath of the Wild 2. So without further ado, let's just get right into this. Okay, so in the game's code, Dataminers have found icons for the following characters: Link, Impa, Zelda, and Urbosa. Now those aren't really big surprises. I think we all mostly expected to see those characters. However, the following characters are definitely going to be new to some of you, or if not new, then maybe you wasn't sure if they were going to be playable or not. So again, last spoiler warning before I go into this. King Rome, Hestu, Riju, Sidon, the Great Fairy, Master Koga, that one sounds quite cool, a monk, I'm not sure whether this is just one of the monks from like the shrines or a special monk in particular, a mini guardian, that's obviously the little white character who's in the demo, we don't really know his name, and this is the biggest spoiler of all. None of those have been really huge in spoilers. I forgot to mention the 4 champions as well, but that's quite obvious. This final one is definitely a big spoiler, so last chance. Ganon. Ganon is going to be a playable character somehow. Now this is very, very odd, because obviously Ganon was, you know, if we're following the timeline correctly here, Breath of the Wild is Calamity Ganon. So A, how are we playing as Ganon in general, because this takes place in the past as a prequel, and B, if we are we playing as a humanoid version of Ganon or Calamity Ganon the Beast? Unless this is like a side, like a DLC or some sort of like a one-off story that's not related to the narrative of the main game, it doesn't make sense for us to be playing as Ganon. Some people think that hooded figure could be Ganon. We still don't know who that is. Looking at that list of playable characters, that could potentially be Ganon. It could be the monk. It could be a range of different people that we're not aware of. So as for Ganon, I don't really know how this is going to work. It's a pretty big reveal. Ganon will be playable, so who knows? I guess we'll find out whether he is playable for the main story, if there's maybe a time travel part where you get to play as him, because we know that, you know, Age of Calamity does mess around with time travel. If you play the demo, you'll know that the mini white guardian actually travels from the future back to the past to warn Zelda of the guardian attack. So perhaps you can play as Ganon in Age of Calamity as like a flashback scene maybe, from like hundreds of years ago, and maybe that Ganon reveal will then tie into the, you know, the dead Ganon we see in Breath of the Wild 2's teaser trailer. Who knows? But yeah, just thought I'd let you guys know about that. So Ganon is going to be playable. Not sure how or why or when it will play into the story, but Ganon is going to be playable in the game. So that's pretty huge. I'm looking forward to that. Ganon was quite fun to play as in the last Hyrule Warriors. So I'm really curious to see his design here, whether they're just going to, you know, stick with, you know, the Beast Ganon, Calamity Ganon, or if they're going to make a whole new design just for Breath of the Wild. Aside from that, thank you all for watching, and have yourselves a damn good one.